Hello and welcome to Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. I am Noleen Abel-Ameh with the news. Let's begin the bulletin by telling you that President Tinubu has inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council as another strategy to revitalize the country's economy. Musbaud and Wahab's report will come in the course of this bulletin. Now to security. 16 rescued kidnapped victims have been handed over to officials of Zamfara State Government by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribado at the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Abuja. The victims, who were rescued in 2 batches in Shinkafi and Tsafi local government areas, comprise of 8 males and 8 females. They were abducted from Zurmi, Duran and Gusau metropolis in Zamfara State on 22nd April 2024 before they were successfully rescued by security operatives of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, while handing them to the Secretary to the Zamfara State Government, Abubakar Nakwada. The NSA reiterated the resolve of the federal government to rid the country of kidnapping and other heinous crimes. Still on security, the Benue State government has declared a 24-hour curfew in and around Ukum local government area due to security breaches and threats in the area. Deputy Governor of the state, Sam Ode, announced this at the end of an emergency security meeting at the Government House, Makurdi. Ilyas Itiaf reports that the curfew is to take effect immediately.
Briefing newsmen at the end of the emergency security meeting held behind closed doors, Deputy Governor of the state, Dr. Sam Ode, said the move became necessary to forestall any further breakdown of law and order in Ikun local government areas and its environs. He further noted that the situation led to the destruction of government and private property.
With effect from 3 p.m. today being the 3rd day of July 2024, there will be a curfew in and around Ukum local government for 24 hours. That is 3 p.m. today until 3 p.m. tomorrow. Thereafter, the curfew will be from 6 a.m. on the 5th of July. It will be from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. on a daily basis till further notice.
The curfew, according to the state government, will be enforced as security agencies have been directed to ensure strict compliance. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, NTA News.
From Makurdi, we take you to Kaduna, where Kaduna State government says its attention and that of the security agencies have been drawn to reports being circulated alleging the occurrence of a suicide attack of a similar incident along the Kaduna-Abuja road. The state government, in a statement by the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, says as at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 3rd July 2024, no such incident had been reported on the Kaduna-Abuja road, appealing to the public to disregard such rumor as security agents sustains efforts towards protecting the lives and property of citizens and commuters. Elsewhere, the air component of Operation Hadinkai has carried out aerial bombardment near the Gwewa and Chinene Two non-terrorist hideouts tucked in the Mandara Mountains, leading to the elimination of several terrorists and their structures. Yesterday's air strikes became expedient after aerial surveillance along the Nigeria-Cameroon border, which revealed large number of terrorists in the area, also suspected to be for manufacturing and storing improvised explosive devices. The air strikes were then authorized with the aircraft bombarding the locations until majority of the terrorists were eliminated, and others observed fleeing the location were taken out using cannons. In a similar news, Senate has passed for second bill that seeks to remove the Nigeria police force from the contributory pension scheme. PENCOM. This will enable the establishment of a police pension board. Leading the debate, sponsored by the bill, Senator Binus Reru pointed out that though the Nigeria Police is the principal law enforcement agency, it is the only security agency left under the contributory pension scheme managed by the Pension Commission. Under the current arrangement, a deputy superintendent of police receives a pension gratuity of 2.5 million naira, while the equivalent of DSP in the Army, Navy and Air Force receive 12.8 million naira. The objective of the bill is for equality, equity and justice in the payment of pensions to the police, who are being paid 19.5% of what their colleagues from sister agencies receive. On power, the electricity distribution companies in the country have announced increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers from 206.80 per kilowatt hour to 2.09.50. In a statement, the distribution companies say the new tariff takes effect from July 1, 2024. Tariff for customers in bands B, C, D, and E remains unchanged. A two-story building housing mostly traders at midday this Thursday collapsed at Eke Umagwe Market, Oka, with unspecified number of persons trapped in the rumbles. Meanwhile, a rescuing operation is ongoing. Onome Okadibo is standing by at the side of the collapsed building. Hello, Onome. Hello, Onome.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
Yes, as at 12 noon, we had a distress cry that there's a building collapse here in Amobia Market, one of the largest markets in Oka Metropolis. Yes, as stated, is a two-story building housing toilet facilities for the market. So I'm here with an eyewitness account, an acting chairman of the market, who will tell us what actually happened here. Though rescue operation is ongoing, as one person called out from the rubble to be rescued. And I'm here with the acting chairman of the market. So tell us, can you tell us what happened and why this?
Well, Mr. Nwachukwu by name, the anti-chairman of the market. This building have started 2-3 weeks ago, after the TC chairman have left. They appointed a new one. They appointed a new chairman TC. They start construction this thing by the old chairman, which was suspended. They asked him to stop. Even the PG of the town asked him to stop. He refused. Likewise, me and the acting chairman, I'm not aware. I even asked them to stop. They refused, based on the selfish interests. But today, they can see what happened here, because I'm not indigent. Why the suspended chairman is indigent than doing indigent something. So he refused to hand over to me by the local government. So he's doing otherwise. So he's the one that doing this thing by himself before the new TC arrive. So that's what happened.
Okay, thank you. So can you confirm the number of casualties now? What is going on now? Can you tell us?
As I'm talking to you, 2 people have gone to the hospital. Then they're about to remove another person here. No casualty yet, but 2 people is now in the hospital. The third one, you can see what is happening there. They're about to remove the third person there now.
Thank you, studio. We have heard from him, though from our investigation from the Red Cross, 1 person is said to be down, while the other person is receiving treatment, while the third victim, they are optimistic that with the excavator that the government has brought on ground to ensure that all the rebels are removed, that will give them the actual number of people trapped here. For now, there are no confirmed numbers.
Thank you very much, Onome. That was quite unfortunate. All right, we told you earlier that President Tinubu has inaugurated Presidential Economic Coordination Council as another strategy to revitalize the country's economy. Let's join Musbah Wahab, who will speak to us on this.
Thank you very much. This is another moment indicating the interest of the President Bola Tinubu, to again improve the economy of the country. Yes, the economy is gradually improving with some indices to show for it, but Nigerians and indeed the government have agreed that the economy is not where it's supposed to be yet, going by the stature and status of the country, that this is supposed to be the biggest economy on the continent. And so the President has brought on this council, recognizing the impact of the private sector to make contribution towards revitalizing the economy and making it greater and greater. And that was what has led to this committee targeting improved economy, creating job opportunities and other economic opportunities for Nigeria to get better. And this council is looking like a very powerful council, including top entrepreneurs in the country. Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu, all of them are in this committee, and including some members of the construction and manufacturing industry. So we expect this committee to really get to work and improve the economy. Some of them spoke to journalists at a press briefing after the inauguration.
The President has just inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council, and that is a body that is made up of the President's Economic Management Team, the legislature represented by the leaders of the National Assembly, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as, very importantly, the subnationals represented by the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and of course, the elite of the private sector. This plan is a means of trying to stabilize the economy and get business growing again. We know what has happened since the macroeconomic measures which were necessary and which have been implemented in a determined and consistent manner. They led to elevated costs both for industry and for individuals.
We'll start meeting immediately, and I can assure you, you'll see a lot of changes coming. I know that everybody is in a hurry, but we have what it takes to turn around this economy. Things are not going to be bad. We are now just we've gone to the bottom, but we're going to rise up and make sure that we make every single Nigerian proud to be a Nigerian.
And so, like Aliko Dangote said, there's going to be some recommendations from the private sector on how to quickly get the economy back on the right path to ensure that Nigerians and indeed the country get better for it.
Very well, Musbah Wahab. And let's shift our attention to court proceedings now, as the Court of Appeal has overturned the decision of the lower court which sacked Martin Ameule and 2 other members from their positions in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The 3-man panel of justices led by Justice Jim Olukayode-Bada in their ruling dismissed the ex parte order given by the High Court of Rivers State stopping Martin Amewole from parading himself as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It also dismissed the decision of the State House High Court stopping 24 other members of the Assembly from accessing the complex or carrying out any such legislative assignment in the name of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The appellate court, in determining the issue of jurisdiction of the lower court to hear and grant an ex parte order, held that the Federal High Court is exclusively and mandatorily the only court that can hear such matters and not a state high court. Similarly, our Federal High Court in Abuja division has invalidated the People's Democratic Party's primary election that produced Asue Igodalo as a party's candidate in September governorship election in Edo State. The presiding judge, Justice Ian Eko, held that the PDP's primary held on February 22nd failed to comply with the Electoral Act 2022 and the guidelines for the conduct of the poll and the party's constitution. He held that the returning officers who prepared the result sheets only sat down in a place to manufacture the outcome of the primary, adding that the exclusion of 381 delegates were against the provisions of the law. INEC and the PDP were defendants in the matter. We shall now take you to Kano to hear more on Emirate tussle over there. Elizabeth Yila will feed us with such information. Elizabeth, good evening to you. Can you speak to us on the Emirship tussle?
Yes, good evening. The Kano State High Court sitting today started around 10 a.m. in the morning, and it was concluded around sometime 4. And part of it was that the defendants, it was by Kano State House of Assembly
we apologize for the unstable picture in that report from Elizabeth, and we shall be taking you to Maiduguri now, where Ladidi is standing by, to give us more reports from that axis. Ladidi, it's over to you.
Welcome to Maiduguri. Glad to have you join us. Borno State government has disposed over 507 million naira for 25,075 students who sat for West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination WAEC in public schools across the state. Pauline Kujavana has details.
Borno State government has consistently subsidized examination fees by 75% for final year students in government secondary schools. Since 2019, the state government has paid over 3.6 billion naira for 138,438 students in public schools. Commissioner of Education Lawan Abawa Kilbe commended school principals for adherence to examination ethics and warned against illegal practices and indiscipline.
Since last year, fees have been paid before the release of results. Today, we paid just after the examination. 507 million naira have been paid for WAEC. An equal amount is going to be paid for NECO. That is bringing the fee to almost 1 billion naira this year.
Zonal Coordinator WAEC Maiduguri Office, Zakariyahu Abdullahi, confirmed the payment and commended the government for prompt payment of student WAEC and ban in external examination in public schools, thereby reducing malpractices.
The governor has been doing a lot. Since he's coming, we have never delayed the results of Borno State-sponsored candidate because he has been prompt in payments.
President ANCOP's Abba Ali Ladan and that of NUBO's Ahmed Kyari Ahmed appreciated government for the consistent payment of the students' WAEC fees and pledged to contribute with extra lessons to enable them excel. This timely payment of WAEC fees shows government commitment to equity in schools, ensuring that public school students access their WAEC results simultaneously with private schools in Borno State. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
300 persons from Bagarod Market community in Borno State have benefited from a free medical outreach as part of activities to commemorate the Nigerian Army Day celebration NATCEL 2024. Abubakar Musa has details.
The free medical outreach at Baga Road Market community was presided over by wife of the General Officer commanding 7th Division Nigerian Army and Commander Sector 1 Operation Hadinkai, Brigadier General Abubakar Garba Haruna. The idea is to render one of the fundamental aspects of life to the civilian population as an act of benevolence and to further cement the prevailing civil-military relationship. The chairperson, 7th Division Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Aishat Abubakar Garba Haruna, interacted freely with the patients, assuring to extend the health intervention to other communities that are yet to benefit.
It's two things that are really disturbing people nowadays: feeding and health. You just see a person walking by, the next thing you hear he has slumped. And what brought about it is that most of us don't check our health, especially our BP, our sugar level, minor checkups. So that's why we are in this community today.
It was indeed a ray of hope for 673 orphans at Fatima Orphans and Widows Educational Foundation when the chairperson visited them as she prayed for the children to become useful in future and presented food items to the orphans. Aishat Abubakar Garba Haruna was also at the headquarters, Joint Investigation Center, Operation Hadinkai, where she applauded officers in charge and soldiers generally for living up to expectations. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
That does it from Maiduguri. Nationwide continues with Kemi in Ibadan. After this time out, don't go away.
Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide, and this is Abuja. We shall now take you back to Elizabeth Yila to further speak to us on Emirship tussle in Kano. Elizabeth, you are on.
Yes, as I was explaining earlier, the sitting today there are quite a lot of activities and submissions that were made at the sitting, and one of the issues that was brought by the First Defendants Council, that is the council to Aminu Ado Bayero, which was represented by Abdul Muhammad San, he stated that they have presented an application, they have written an application for an affidavit of fact and a stay of proceedings, and that was responded to by the applicant's counsel, which says they have no grounds to stop the hearing for today just because of those facts, which is, according to them, a baseless fact. By the order of 6 Rule 4 of the Court of Appeal book, that all applications must be made known to the lower court before it's heard at the Court of Appeal. And the judge, Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, ruled that she will continue with the hearing today. And because of that, the First Defendants Council seek for extension. They ask for an adjournment and be given a date so that they will respond to all applications that were submitted to them. They were served yesterday. And the judge also ruled against it. And because of that, they withdrew their representation of their client, saying they cannot represent his rights effectively if they go on with the sitting, as it were. And the court's case continued, and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Respondents' Council brought an issue that the court should set aside the repeal law of Kano Emirate that was made by the State House of Assembly, and that the state government should pay the sum of 1 billion naira for violation of their rights, the rights of their clients. And the Applicants Council also responded to that. And this is the matter that is still before the courts, and with other applications that to be responded to. And the judge ruled that adjourned the matter to the 18th of July for hearing of all applications that are before the Honorable Court.
All right, thank you very much for the update on Emeship Tussle from Kano there, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you.
Away from that, to mine and steel, companies found to have compromised on safety standards in the iron and steel manufacturing sector will face the full wrath of the law upon completion of investigations by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, into alleged sharp practices in the manufacturing of steel products in the country. This is to address incessant building collapse in the country, as the team from the Commission carried out surveillance operations at 3 various steel companies along with industrial layouts in Ogun State. Amakao reports.
Media reports show that Nigeria recorded the highest incident of building collapse in Africa in 2023. Tackling these menaces headlong remains the priority of the federal government. This has necessitated operatives of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to swing into action. This time, they have beamed searchlight into activities of steel manufacturing industries in Nigeria.
We've got intelligence and surveillance reports that the companies in question are involved in some anti-competitive behavior, and that is the reason why we decided to come to 3 out of the many companies that are here in Lagos, so we can take a sample and see what it is that they do by going through the records that we get from them, as well as look at the end products that come out of their systems here. You see, what is happening is there is false, misleading and deceptive, as well as unfair market practices. You would go into the market to buy an iron rod of 12 mm, for instance. When they produce, what you get is 10, not 12. And this is what is the main reason that leads to all these building collapses that we have in the country.
The Commission says the investigations are ongoing and will involve the contributions of forensic experts, as Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is saddled with a mandate to protect the consuming population. The Commission remains resolute in enforcement of safety in the steel manufacturing industry. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has announced 50% to 100% increase in fees of the 268 different mining licenses. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, made the announcement in Abuja.
Thus, in line with the powers conferred on me by the Nigerian Mining and Minerals Act 2007, I set up a committee of the directors of the ministries, departments, and director generals of agencies under the ministry, and charged them with the mandate to work out new rates to justify government's investment in the service infrastructure and to cope with the expected meteoric spike in the traffic of applicants besieging the regulatory machinery. But the highlights are: 1, applicants for mining lease will now pay 3 million as opposed to the paltry sum that they were paying before. In fact, I'm actually ashamed to mention what they were paying. Now, reconnaissance permits will now attract a fee of 300,000. Exploration license will now be 600,000. Small-scale mining license will be 300,000. Quarry lease will be 600,000. And water use permit, 300,000. And the license to manufacture explosives will now cost 20 million to obtain.
And talking health now, the private sector controls over 60% of Nigeria's health care, often operating without sufficient oversight, which allows medical malpractice to persist. In response, the Kogi state government is shutting down non-compliant medical facilities. Jonathan Omajeli reports on an ongoing hospital inspection in Ankpa local government area, which has resulted in the closure of a hospital.
Few months ago, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, expressed concern over the widespread presence of unqualified practitioners in the health sector. His concerns are particularly relevant in Ankpa, Kogi State, where many individuals seeking medical care have tragically died or suffered complications due to health facilities that fail to meet regulatory standards. Alarmed by disturbing reports from the area, the hospital inspectorate team from the State Ministry of Health took its war against medical quackery to the local government. Alhaji Yahya Memorial Hospital was the first facility to be sealed following an inspection. This action was deemed necessary due to the discovery of expired medications, unqualified practitioners, the absence of a supervising doctor, and the lack of a staff list, among other issues. At the time of the inspection, a dental therapist was managing the hospital.
They are even lower credit. Instead of you to go and go to school more and continue, you are coming to treat clients in the hospital.
The team was especially concerned about the admission of comatose patients without available oxygen.
The hospital has been operating for the past 10 years unregistered with the ministry. There is no supervising or doctor.
The team leader stated that the facility was operating beyond its scope and needed to be urgently sealed to protect lives.
They are training quacks. A quack is training quack.
Please, I'm not in charge. No, I was the work. I just come. I was just. Please, I am.
The team plans to visit other parts of the state as the government continues its crackdown on substandard health facilities. Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Now, residents of Maiduguri and relevant stakeholders in the environmental sector have expressed determination to key into the federal government's ban on single-use plastics in ministries, departments and agencies of government towards eliminating plastic-related materials within the environment. Abubakar Musa reports.
Single-use plastics have over the years remained a major environmental challenge in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, despite efforts of stakeholders and government in tackling the menace. The recent pronouncement over banning single-use plastics by the federal government is, however, a commendable initiative in Maiduguri.
We commend the federal government because it will keep the environment clean.
The federal government should create more awareness because it seems most people are not aware.
Research has clearly shown that the refinement of plastics emit an additional 184 to 213 million metric tons of greenhouse gases every year, a situation a medical expert describes as a worrisome problem.
These plastic bags are made of polyethylene, chemicals containing chemicals like bisphenol, phthalates, and lead. They interfere with some hormones which ultimately affects the reproductive health system in women. Also, it has developmental effects in children, and also some of them are cancerous. They are precancerous.
Block our drainages, whereby it interferes with the free flow of runoff water or drainage waters, thereby creating flows within the society. So by coming up with this development, honestly, we really hail it.
If the elimination of plastic materials is taken to its logical conclusion, the prevalence of life-threatening illnesses like cancer is likely to reduce drastically. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Still staying with Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa joins us live to give us more information on the single plastic menace.
It's good to see you, Noleen. Though some people are not aware of the ban, stakeholders in the environmental sector and residents of Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, that I have interacted with so far on the issue were not only relatively happy over the development, but have called on the federal government to extend the ban on single-use plastics beyond ministries, departments and agencies of government for wider impact. You know, considering the devastating effects of plastic materials on the larger society or the larger environment, so to say. Secondly, if there is any state in Nigeria that needs this ban the most, I think it's Borno, owing to the windy weather condition usually being experienced in this part of the country. The windy weather condition normally leaves the environment littered with plastic materials like styrofoams and polythene mats, thereby, reducing the ability of reducing the ecosystem's ability to adapt to climate change, among other major challenges.
All right, Abubakar, is this ban likely to make any negative effects economically?
Okay, it's likely to affect the economy of the state because quite a significant number of people in Borno State, especially the youths, are largely dependent on the business of collecting single-use plastics for survival, to keep body and soul together, particularly in these trying times that Nigerians are facing. Though the federal government, under the leadership of President Abel-Ameh Tinubu, has remained emphatic that the situation will augur well for all of us in the long run.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution, Abubakar Musa. Improving safety, security and ensuring infrastructure development in the air transportation system remains the top priority of the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, geared towards achieving the target of the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, stated this in a message at the Joint Consultative and Negotiating Council Capacity Building aimed at achieving an active and vibrant workforce to move the industry towards the desired direction.
The aviation industry is rapidly evolving with advancements in technology and changing passenger expectations. Encouraging our workers to think creatively and work collaboratively will enable us to stay ahead of the curve.
Economic growth and job creation, we believe that it is the engine for the progress of this sector. Capacity building and training, it is our investment in ourselves.
All right, we shall now be taking you to our Ibadan Network Center where Kemi is standing by to present the sets of reports we're expecting from that axis. Hello, Kemi.
Noleen, and welcome to Ibadan. Assorted commodities have been released from the National Strategic Reserve for vulnerable persons in Oyo State. This is part of the federal government's commitment to improving the quality of life of the citizens. Grace Ayoleke reports that 20% of the assorted commodities will be given to religious bodies and 3% to boarding schools across the state.
The President Bola Tinubu-led administration through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has handed over 25,740 50 kilograms bags of maize and 5,280 25 kilograms bags of gari to the Oyo State government to alleviate the suffering of the people.
To this end, the Oyo State government is ensuring due diligence and inclusivity in distribution.
The government is doing all it can to rejig the architecture of security in Nigeria to make it easy for the farmers to be able to go back to their farms, so as to alleviate the sufferings of the common man.
This is just a tip of the iceberg. The Oyo State government, through deliberate intention, is addressing poverty in our midst.
Beneficiaries express appreciation on the initiative.
There should be individualistic involvement in our agricultural development of our country, and when this goes further, definitely there will be much supply of food.
Distribution of the assorted commodities is one of initiatives of the President's administration designed to ensure food security, thereby safeguarding lives. In Ibadan, Grace Ayoleke, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has charged students and youths to be disciplined, loyal and patriotic in their academic pursuits and undertakings for the good of the nation. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja gave the charge at the Nigerian Army Public Speaking Engagement in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Correspondent Oyeyin Kaumali completes the report.
As part of activities lined up for the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2024, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja represented, engaged some of the students of Ibadan Grammar School in public speaking to widen their scope of listening as they progress to choose their career paths.
I encourage our parents, I encourage our teachers to continue to guide them to be good citizens of this country. And I want to assure you that our doors are always open to support education and all youth activities in the state.
Officers at the public speaking engagement took the students and their teachers through the activities of the Nigerian Army and benefits of patriotism.
So as students, you must learn to practice the act of being honest at all times, and also your integrity should never be in doubt.
It was also a time for the students to clear their doubts about the Nigerian Army, while best among them, including their principal, were rewarded.
I appreciate your selflessness and bravery, and these are the testimony and inspiration to all our present students.
The lecture and video clip were educative and has added to our knowledge on the roles of the Nigerian Army, and has also given us an insight on the steps to take for a possible career in the Nigerian Army.
This year's Nigerian Army Day celebration continues in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Omole, NTA News.
And that does it from Ibadan. More reports on Nationwide with Noleen after the break. Don't go away.
You're still watching Nationwide. Let's now join Chinenye in Enugu to have her submission on coal mining from there. You're on, Chinenye. Chinenye, we apologize for the glitch there connecting with Chinenye. Let's move on now. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General, Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, says Friday, 5th of July 2024 is the first day for Muslims to look for the new moon of Muharram, 1446 after Hijrah. A statement signed by Professor Sambo Wali Jonaidu, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council Sokoto, says Friday is the 29th of Dhul Hijjah, advising that sighting of the new moon should be reported to the nearest district or village head for onward communication to the Sultan. Next is a sports update.
Nigerian Super Eagles have been placed in Group D for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers that will be hosted by Morocco next year. The Confederation of African Football conducted the draw, positioning the Super Eagles in Pot 1. In Group D, Nigeria will compete against Benin, Libya and Rwanda. The top 2 teams from each group will progress to the AFCON finals, slated for December 2025.
With the recent results of the Super Eagles, it's understandable why Nigerians will be worried that we have Libya, Benin and Rwanda as our opponents. The Nigerian team has not proven that they can handle these small countries. And as it has been said recently, there are no longer small countries in football. So nobody knows. But any which way it goes, the belief is that Nigeria should be able to squeeze out a position, either first or second place in this group.
Finidi George has praised the management of Rivers United FC for giving him a job shortly after resigning as head coach of the Super Eagles. In his first statement as the manager of Rivers United, Finidi George expressed his desire to lead the team to success in continental competitions in the upcoming season. Meanwhile, in a highly anticipated match, Spain and Germany, both favorites in Europe, will compete in the quarterfinals of the European Championship. The winner of this match will face either Portugal or France in the semi-finals, while Cristiano Ronaldo and Kylian Mbappe will also face off in an exciting quarter-final encounter between Portugal and France. And finally in tennis, Coco Gauff, ranked second, easily defeated Anca Todoni from Romania in the second round of Wimbledon. Gauff took advantage of multiple breakpoint opportunities and had a strong first serve, allowing her to advance to the third round in just 66 minutes. With Sports Update, Bright Ebochio, NTA News.
Bright's story there concludes Nationwide today. Thank you very much for watching. I am Noleen Abel-Ameh. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.